brought you to this training?
Free training is always awesome.
Okay. What sounded interesting about this topic? Why would you give up your lunch to come here and be with
I gave up
us?
UAC. I'm happy to be
I
here.
have a number of videos in my class. I'm not sure the students are watching them.
Ah,
Yeah.
good.
I want to make
Good.
more interesting for the students.
Okay. All right. So the prospect of it not being set and get, because that's what our videos are sometimes. How do you know if they've watched?
Well, I asked them to quote from the videos
Good.
in their final paper. So,
Good. Okay.
before
So
that,
so you are making
yes.
giving them some accountability. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's not just that. So what typically happens is we've got a video in a course. Students watch it, whether it's 2 minutes or 20 minutes. And as you well know, there could be any range of content in that. And so how do you get them to really process? I mean, because I'm trained as a K-12 educator, so I can tell you that even as far back as the 70s, when I went through my teaching classes, Dr. Clay, who was actually Sister Clay, she was a nun, wonderful woman. She just, she would almost beat us over the head if we tried to show an entire film, or in those days it was film, to our biology students at one time. You just didn't do that. And because, you got to direct what you want them to get out of it, right? And yet, as far as our technologies come, it hasn't given us the ability to really do that very well online until now. Until now, we have this really huge explosion of tools. And I'm just showing you one of them today. One of those tools, and it's called EDpuzzle. And if I had seen you in May, I would have shown you Zaption because that's what I got introduced to, and then it got sold out. So we moved to EDpuzzle, and it has a lot of neat features, and I have used it in some courses. But that's why we're here. We're trying to bring that watch and then respond somewhere else. We're going to try to merge those together, right? So that's what this is all about. All right. So let me I have in here a little demonstration because I wanted you to see what the experience of the students would be. If you scroll down or you look on the course page, you'll have the same link in here. So this happens to be a video. I got Terry's permission to share this that I put together for Terry Brensinger's launch first course that the new Ministry Masters program students are taking. And our Center for Online Learning media team did these videos for him. And so we put them, because it's entirely online, we put them into EDpuzzle to give them a little bit of interactivity. So I've copied this over. So this is what it looks like in his course. Looks just like this. I've embedded the actual video, and when the students come to it, they get to choose how they want to log in. Now, that's not as seamless as we wish it were. It'd be nice if it just was seamless, and because they're logged into Moodle, they're already logged in there. So we continue to look for the right tool to do that. But for now, this is it's not bad, and the students have not had any issues with it. They've navigated it quite nicely. And so you come here, and their experience would be, I'm a student, or they can choose that to teacher. And then log in with an EDpuzzle, so that would require you to make a new account. Or if you already had a Google account, or Edmodo, which we don't really use in higher ed, it's more of a K-12 tool. So I logged in with my Google account the first time, but of course you can do that however you want. Once you do that, so watch this. If I go in and I log in with my Google account, it just asks me, is that okay? It's that simple. If I have a Google account and I'm into the video. All right? And so you can kind of see how that works. And so here's the video. It's coming off of YouTube, actually. And we've got it linked on YouTube. So this was a YouTube video. That inside of EDpuzzle, we've embedded some questions. And you can see where those questions are along through the timeline of the video. It's about a 13-minute video. So, we like them to be chunked up into about under 5 minutes if we can. And so since this was all one, we thought, so I intentionally did it where it made sense, but I intentionally tried to chunk it out into a little bit more manageable pieces.
So the student actually sees those
Yes.
green question things, they know
Yeah.
there's question things coming.
You're seeing this, I'm logged in as a student right
Okay.
now.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
So
not my
actually-
teacher account.
Sorry, Patty, will it actually stop when it's time to answer one of those questions?
Yes,
So,
yes.
so you're playing along and then it will stop and then it'll ask you a question?
Right. So I actually have this set up to, I have it muted, sorry.
3 jobs.
Um,
to fail at that.
So I have it set up so that I can skip, but I did that intentionally for this. In his course,
Well,
they
you're
can't skip.
considering selling something.
So they can't fast forward. They have to watch it to that point.
It's worth
And you
it.
could set that up in EDpuzzle too.
You can set that up inside of EDpuzzle. I just, when I copied it
That's
over to put it in here as a demo, because I didn't want to take you to the one where the students had, for reasons, I couldn't take you to the one where the student questions were, but, so I thought, we don't want to have to listen to 13 minutes in our short time here today. So I can fast forward it, but if you change the setting, and you'll see that when we go and practice with it, they wouldn't be able to do that. So let me back that up just a little bit. So he's been talking with them. Now I used this in kind of a unique way. Now, let me hear-
We look for inspiration.
So let me go back for just a bit. So here we go. So he's talking along.
Bills that already been paid. It's finding the Bible. It's kind of like that. Discovering oil in your backyard that you didn't know was there. It's a resource. It's full of life and inspiration.
Okay, now he's going to transition into something else. I've used this in this case not because the content he's talked about has been preliminary, but I wanted to engage their minds again. So I intentionally made this forward facing. I had them do a prediction because he's now going to talk about where we look for those sources of inspiration. He's going to talk about self-help books and things like that in his. So you could use it to review. You can put in, these are all short answer. But you'll see when we get in here, you can put in multiple choice, true false, any number of kinds of questions. And so instructionally, I know it's a good thing to have students predict. So that's kind of why I did that. So that I've typed that answer in, and I can hit
We look
continue.
for inspiration and instruction and guidance today in any number of places.
So
We
you
appeal
can
to the social sciences as we
you can see that's going to come along, and then he continues to talk, and then we get to the next one, and it just moves right along until it gets to the next question.
I said to him, well, what is it that your grandfather did that shaped you so much? And he said, he told me Bible stories. He taught me to love the Bible.
Okay, so again, in this particular case, this isn't filled with a lot of big content, so I've just asked questions here to get them to stop and say, oh, I'm awake again. and so it doesn't have to be any big theological question or anything like that. Who influenced you? So they're interacting with it in some way.
So these are all online videos, these aren't things is that what the purpose of this is?
We created them. I mean, the Center for Online Learning, our media team created them, and they have them on our YouTube channel. So you'll see how we can go in and do that.
So I can use those for my ethics and values class?
Yes, absolutely. And just to show you, this is the other way, and they can be closed caption. There's all sorts of options here. But just to show you then, this was when I created this, it came also with a link and an access code, which is just this last part here. So you can just email that to students if you wanted to, if you're not using it in if you wanted them to interact with it for homework, say, and it's a on-ground class. Or you wanted to, use it a different way besides embedding it. But that's would be the way they would join your class, be to come in that way. Okay? Now, let me very quickly go in here and log into EDpuzzle with that account. So I'm going to log in with teacher, and I'm actually using the seminary account. We chose to set up a separate one for them just because we knew they were going to be using it for a number of courses. But so we could do that. We can help you do that for your department if you wanted to. But I wanted to bring you in here to show you that I have as the instructor. Now I'm signed in as the instructor. Okay, so we're going to see that view. So here I am, and I could give it a due date. I've assigned it to a course named Training, and it will keep track of everybody who logs in using that code, or through Moodle where I have it embedded under Training. So everybody who comes in using that embedded video will get tracked here all the way along. And it tells me that 92% of the students who have logged in so far, that's only me, but it's been 92% complete. That's not that beneficial to me, but if I go into progress, it'll show me all the people who have logged in and whether or not they've graded it. When was the last time they saw it? But yeah, that's okay. But this is even more valuable. If I click on Patty Patrick, the student, it shows me my timeline of how I progressed through and how many times I watched each section. Okay? And it'll also give you all the answers. So here are my answers. Self-help books and friends, I can go through as the instructor and I can leave an observation or a question response back to that student. Okay? Something like that. And it sends it. And so, bada bing, or I can just simply say, hey, got it, boom. Or didn't get it. Try again. So I can give them feedback based on, or it will automatically score multiple choice ones for you. Okay? And this one you'll notice I didn't get done, so there's nothing there. So it gives you just a little bit of information about, and then it'll take me to the next student. All right? And so on. They didn't get to it, so. All right, so let's go back here. Now, the whole point of a workshop, though, is to get in here and do some of this. So, if you want to, scroll down a little bit further. There's a link to EDpuzzle. All right? Actually, that's not a good way to do it, though, now that I think about it. Let me do this. I'm going to log out of this. Go ahead and just in your browser type in edpuzzle.com, because when we're inside of here, we're all going to be inside of Moodle, and it's probably going to slow it down. So now that I think about it, I should have just had it open in a new window. My bad. So if you want to just go open a new tab and click on that, and while you're in there, go ahead and open and click on this tab as well. Oh wait, yeah, let's see if that's embedded. Probably is. No, it is. Okay. That's okay. Let me change that for you real quick.
Don't click on that yet then?
Don't click on that one yet. And we'll just open that in a separate window. Make that open in a separate window. My bad. Okay. All right, so if you'll hit, before you do that, before you click on it, click on this up here, click on your refresh button in your top of your browser, refresh the page. Then it'll get the new instructions, and you can go down and go ahead and click on Birds of a Wire video. I think I got this from you, Candy. It's a
Let's suppose that you're writing a really important email to a colleague.
okay. It's a cute little video, Pixar video about team building. Okay, that I thought we could use to create a little EDpuzzle. All right.
And where am I supposed to be, EDpuzzle?
So you want to have an EDpuzzle.
Oh, okay.
You want to have an EDpuzzle window open, and you want to have a Birds on a Wire YouTube puzzle window open. Okay? So you're going to have your video, right? Whatever video you want it to be. So if you've created, and it can be Vimeo, it doesn't have to be, and I'll show you a little bit how to search that. I just wanted to shorten that process. Okay, so we're going to go here to EDpuzzle, and if you have never logged in, you're going to just click on this button right here that says Teacher Start Now. Okay, and it wants to give you on the tour, but you don't want to go there because I'm giving you a tour. So go ahead and click Skip. And if you have never been in before, you're going to sign up with this simple little form. All they want is just your name.
So I can't use the Google button, even though I have a Google
You
account?
can if you have a Google account, by all means. Yeah, do.
I don't remember my password, so I'm not gonna be able to participate.
That's what I typically do, but you know, everybody's different. Okay, so I make a new account here. And it's going to ask me, what do I teach? And I can figure something out. Now, the nice thing about going ahead and putting in Fresno Pacific University here is that it is possible to search within your school. So if you wanted to share EDpuzzles with others in your department, that's the nice, otherwise I probably wouldn't mess with it. But it does give you a search just within Fresno Pacific. Now what's cool is, like YouTube or other sites, you can just start off and see what other people have done with your topic. For example, I was trying to do some training, help somebody do some training with Adobe Connect, and I did a search, and there were some EDpuzzles that people had done on how to use Adobe Connect. So you might find something there, but that's not really what we want to do at this point. It's just going to try to guide you through. All right, well, we'll just say birds. See what it has. All right. So there's all sorts of things about birds that we could do, but we don't really, so it's kind of walking me through.
So wait, so are you saying that if I do this search thing, that all the videos that show up there
Are ones that
are
people
EDpuzzles?
are no, look, it's showing you all sorts of videos from all these sources.
Oh, okay.
See how it's highlighting those?
But they haven't already been configured by EDpuzzle.
Not
They're
necessarily.
just a raw video.
Some of them have. See EDpuzzle.
You could sort it by clicking.
So I could just sort it by EDpuzzle and those. Look how many people have done this video. How funny. Or the birds. Okay, so we could pick it. All right, and somebody has set up all these questions inside this one video.
Where did
Alright.
I find that video?
Okay, so, but I'm going to go ahead and close
I
that.
didn't find that video.
And I'm not quite sure how to get faster out of this, but I don't want to be in here, so we'll go ahead and close this.
So I thought the thing that we would do here is that we would copy and paste the URL from the
We will.
YouTube into that
Yeah.
line there.
So right here, where it says search for a video or paste the URL. Okay? So what we want to do is we want to get birds on a wire. All right? So we're going to go back to that tab and we're going to click on the share button. And we're going to copy this URL. And then we're going to go in here to EDpuzzle and we're going to paste it. So you don't have to do their search, but if you don't know what video you want, these are all the places it will search automatically for you. I don't find that real helpful because for me, it's more likely that I'm going to have a specific video in mind that I want to use. Okay, so now's for the fun part. It tells us you've got your video in there. Trim it, add your voiceover, insert audio notes, and embed questions. Fantastic. Okay, so now here we are. So you've got your video sitting there. It gives you a timeline. The very first thing you can do is you can trim it, because sometimes you get videos in there, twice as long as you want. You don't want the first minute and a half. Maybe you want to cut this off to.
When you bring a video in from YouTube, does it filter out the ads when you're using EDpuzzle, or is that still?
Have not seen any ads show up.
Okay, nice.
Have not seen any ads show up. And so I can't tell you that definitively, but in my experience, I have not seen any ads show up. So it could be the video.
Yeah.
But so say I want to make this shorter, that would be the first thing I could do to crop the video. And here's my tools, so that it's set them up in a way that it's promoting you to attack this. So the first thing would be to crop it. So if I wanted to do that, I could do that. Okay, so I just click that and it would crop it. So show me how. You need to know when you get in there. You'll have a little puzzle here.
How many times was it to use only one part of the video? With EDpuzzle, you can crop the video. You have to drag and drop the red stripes next to the timeline. It is an easy way to mark where you want the video to start and to finish. Now I have exactly the part of the video that I need for my lesson. Remember, with EDpuzzle, you can make any video your
lesson. Okay, we got it. Okay, so we can click here, get rid of that part, and get rid of that part. All right, so now I've just got a smaller section. It's going to start a little bit different. Okay, so the next button is the audio track. All right, so you notice that I can add an audio track. So if I wanted to, I could voice over on top of this. All right, I'm not going to really spend any time on that, but again, there's a tutorial for how to do that. And you don't have to even go through these. And you can make audio notes. So if you wanted to just make a note on here for them to listen to. So for example, right here, if I said I want to make a audio note, it'll ask me if I can use my, so it's now, see how it's recording me? Can you see?
Yeah.
This is like the, exactly like the video, it's adding this note to the video. Okay?
So is the difference between the two, when you're doing an audio note, it's going to pause it and they'll listen to you?
Right.
Whereas the other one, the
voiceovers.
videos continue to run
You're
and it's
talking
voiceover.
over.
Does that mean there'll be a conflict if the person's talking and then you talk, they're going to hear both voices?
Exactly. So
Okay.
that's why I don't really use the other one.
Right.
But some videos don't have have
Right.
narration.
Exactly.
In fact, this one doesn't.
Yeah.
So this one would work. But and if you any PowerPoint you have, you can make them into videos.
Yeah.
By the way.
You can import those into here and start
Yeah.
manipulating.
And you could do a voiceover straight from that. You just save it as a video.
Right.
Or you
Okay.
could grab a video and take off the audio and add your own.
You can as well.
Ooh.
Yes. Anyway, so this would be just where I might say, as you watch this video, I want you to consider this question or whatever. Okay. And so then the last button, of course, is the one that really is the only one I've really used much, and that is how to put in questions. And so it basically works like this. As you're watching the video, I can use my, so it's now, see how it's recording me? Can you see? This is like the exactly, okay. So I can move it on forward and I can say, all right, so right there, I might want to add a question here. So, you know, what is he thinking? Right? And then I can hit save. Now I have a lot of options here. I can change the font about that. I can add a picture in, an image in if I want, or I can add a link out to a site where I want them to go and do a little more investigation and come back and answer that question. Okay? So there's several options that I can put in there. And I can't even put in a function. I don't have any math teachers here, but I can do that as well. I also have the option of making this a multiple choice question. Okay, what is he thinking? You know, he's thinking, don't you dare. Oops, exclamation point. He's thinking, please join us. Okay, so we'll just give him those two options, and then we'll save it. All right, so it saves my question. Now, then I'm going to go ahead and hit continue, and it's going to come along. Okay, so now there, maybe I want to insert another question. So you get the drift. You want to try it?
Yeah.
Why don't you try it? I demoed this. Why don't you try putting in some questions on yours, and we'll come back and together. Okay? If I save this, and I should save it as I go along, but then once I'm done, I can click finish. Now I can come back and edit it. But Edmodo, and this is why I like it, it's actually set up on a class-by-class basis. And so you're not just having them out there. You can copy them over to classes by all means, but you can add a class. So I'm going to create a class, and we'll just call this, we'll call it bullying. And I can, right there is where I can prevent skipping for any of my class members. And I can give them a due date. So if you just put it on Campus Cruiser and you want them to be able to do it for a certain period of time, you have control over that here. You don't have to do that inside of Moodle, right inside of EDpuzzle. So those are some things I like. And so I'll go ahead and do that. And let's see. What am I not doing minutes? Okay, there we go. I had to add that class. So now it's assigned to my class called bullying, and then I can send it. And I don't have anybody in my class bullying yet, and frankly, I don't intend to. This is where the K-12, they do a lot more with K-12. If you had an Edmodo class, or if you were using Google Classroom, you could automatically import all your kids in. But we haven't really moved to that kind of a system here, and so you don't have to do anything with it at this point, because once I click here and click share, it's going to give me two options with my video. I can just have a link, or I can do the embed code. So if I just want to send them a link and have them go outside of Moodle to EDpuzzle and watch a video and interact with it, I'm going to use that. If I want to use it inside of Moodle, I'm going to use the embed code. All right?
So how do I make so I've got to go here. Let's say I spend one day creating an EDpuzzle video,
Mm-hmm.
and tomorrow I come back and say, now I'm ready to put that into my Moodle shell.
Right.
I need to log back into EDpuzzle and copy and paste this code.
When you log back into EDpuzzle, it's going to show you your default class, which is the last one you worked with,
Okay.
and whatever videos you've already assigned to that. But let's say you didn't even assign it. You're still working on it. You could just click up here on My Content, and it'll show you what you're working on.
Okay.
And then I can click there, and I can assign or edit it. Now, since it's already assigned to a class, it's not recommended that I do that, since I've assigned it to a class.
You have to have a class before you can share it.
So I can remove it. But I don't want to do that because can't remember if that does. So yeah, you do have to have a class. Well, no, you can share it in general. No, I don't have to have assigned it to a class. Let me go to my classes, and let me go here. And sorry, I clicked on the wrong thing. All right. And I haven't done this for a while. Watch as a student, delete. Okay, so I'm going to delete it out of my class. All right, so now I'm going to go back to my content. It's still there. It just hasn't been assigned to a class now. But once it's been assigned to a class, there's that risk that students have gone in and they don't want to mess up the content the answers they already have. So now I can come here, and it gives me the edit button. So now I could go back in and make changes to it if I want to. But when I'm done, then I click Finish. And I don't actually have to assign it here, okay? So let's say I don't want to put it in Boolean. I can just click Later. And it's still there, it's finished. I can then, if I want to, select it and come up here to this button that says Assign or Share. And I don't have to, I can share it with anyone. Now you're not going to get the student names, but I can share it with anybody. So if you just want it for a review, you just click on that button and you don't even have to assign it to a class. And then they come on and it just says guest user. They don't even have to create an account, but you don't get the feedback.
So that's sending them to this site to look at it.
Yeah.
And then the embed is whatever.
Well, you
I take
can
it to
actually,
Google.
no, I can actually share with anyone and embed it. What happens if I do that? Let me copy this and I'll show you the difference. If I go back in here and I come in here and do like how I did before, I put that in a label. I could put it in the page too inside of Moodle. But in this case I used a label. Oops. And I would click on this button right here. That's the button that takes me into the code view, if you've ever used the embed, and you just paste your embed code in there, and then when you come back out, you save that. Now notice that it now says guest mode. So I didn't assign it to a class, and so watch this. When I come down here to this one, see it's guest mode, and notice it doesn't have me have to make an account. Okay.
But if you want all the management to so you can see the students, how they've engaged it, and the quizzes and all that kind of stuff, you
Yeah.
do want to assign it to a class that requires
Yeah.
an login.
I want to check. I want to double check that because I haven't actually used guest mode before, so I want to double check that is yes, because I wanted to sign out. So I've signed out of EDpuzzles, and so it's not seeing any user in EDpuzzle. And so you could have them come in, but it's not then going to log, Patty Patrick did this answer on this thing. But you can use it that way. And then there's no login for them.
Right.
Which makes it more seamless, but doesn't give you, but if you don't want to go log in someplace else and read those responses anyway, no big deal. If your main objective is to keep them from skipping,
Right.
and wake them up a couple of times, then this would be the way to do it.
Yeah.
So you could conceivably, you could put some questions in there that they may type answers into. You can't actually see those answers because there's no accounts.
Right.
But the fact that they've answered those questions and you've forced them to not skip the video, you could still then also have a regular forum that's responding to this video
Exactly.
based on the
Or even
questions I asked.
a Moodle quiz.
You
could
could
have a
still
Moodle
do that.
quiz and
Yeah.
Just a voice cue saying, pay attention to this, you're gonna know this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's, that's another way to use it. Questions before we go any? We're pretty much out of time. We have about 5 minutes. The tool we're looking at for inside of Moodle is, it actually works, but it doesn't back up anything. And so we can't use it in, you can't, if you put it in your course, we can't save it as part of the backup of the course. So they're working on that, and if that comes out, we'll certainly update you that it's not nearly this user-friendly. So it's quite a bit more of a code version of, adding the questions. The interface is not as pretty, but that's where, if you guys want to do this in your courses, now that you kind of see how this works, if you've got a video, we've got a media team. So, let us know. If we can help you do that. You know what questions you want to ask, and you don't have the bandwidth time to actually get that video put together, let's help you with that.
So when we go through and we make our edited version of these videos, and it's in our Moodle shell, I put it in our Moodle shell. In the future, when I teach that class again, and I ask the Center of Online Learning to duplicate that, and that will go over, that version of the video will go over with it?
It will, but part of your tune-up for the class, just like you have to change dates,
Right.
would be probably to go and go back to EDpuzzle and let me log in real quick. Let's go in with one of these accounts. So, and I don't even care. Do I have to do this? I've already
You have to
been
do that
in.
every time?
Well, I've actually already been in. It's not gonna let me. All right. All right, I've used this account, so that's why I'm surprised they are making me do this. Oh, shoot. Well, anyway, one of the things, I don't even know now what I was trying to show you. What did you
There's
ask?
some that have to update or
Oh.
go in.
So what I did was, I know which account I should go in with then. I'll show you how that works. Future, going right with the seminary account. Okay, so what I did was, in order to show you that, was I looked at this, so I go to my content, and I went to the course, and I clicked on it, right? And actually, what did I do? I must have opened it up. Yeah, and it told me, gave me the option to duplicate it. And so you would need to do that, and I'll tell you why. Because if you didn't, you just posted it back in the course, all the input that students put in the previous semester would still be associated with it.
Okay. That's if I do it the route where I want to, where they're logging in and I'm getting that information.
And you've embedded it, yes.
Right, but if I'm just embedding it and
As
I'm
a
not
guest?
having them log in as guest, then
I
it would
think
just
it would be
copy
just
over.
fine, yes.
Okay, good.
It should be just fine. Yeah, but you're gonna need to copy it if you want, if you're keeping content.
So copy it, embed it again.
That
I'm
makes
gonna
sense. Yeah.
duplicate it
So
and
your
get
awesome
an
student
embed
workers wouldn't
code.
do that for
So you don't
us?
have to, you don't have to remake
Yeah,
it,
do
you
that
just
for
have to
me.
get it
I know.
and assign it to that course and get the new embed code. Yeah. It's probably a 3-minute, that part's probably 3 minutes, but you do need to do that. That would be a maintenance issue. if you are gonna.
And that makes sense.
So it's sounding more and more like you don't wanna have students sign in, which, you know, I wondered frankly if it would be a big issue, but it has not been an issue. There was no negative feedback from the students in terms of making their accounts and utilizing it. And I will tell you, because I've seen the content, that the answers to the questions were very thoughtful and much more than I would have thought. You know, I always kind of gauge things like how I was as a student, and I would have probably just answered the minimum and moved on to the next section, but don't laugh, Andrew. And so I was pretty pleased with the level of thoughtfulness that the students put into it as they were reading it. So anyway,
Depends on the
thank you.
cohort.
It depends on the cohort, yeah.
Yes, thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
here we go. Yeah.